Hey, welcome to Her Tales. If you're new here, hit that subscribe button and tell me in the comments, where in the world are you watching from? I never thought I'd be the woman telling this story. You know the type. The one who finds out her perfect life was built on lies. But here I am, 3 months later, still trying to piece together how everything I believed could crumble in a single afternoon. It started on our 5th anniversary. Marcus had been acting different for weeks. Secretive phone calls, working late, that distant look in his eyes when he thought I wasn't watching. But I convinced myself it was just work stress. He'd been up for a promotion at the firm, and I knew how much that meant to him. The morning of our anniversary, he surprised me with breakfast in bed. Pancakes shaped like hearts, fresh strawberries, the whole romantic gesture. He was nervous, though, kept fidgeting with his coffee cup, checking his phone. "Vivian," he said, and something in his voice made me look up from my plate. "I know things have been complicated lately, but I need you to know how much you mean to me." I smiled, thinking he was just being sentimental. We'd been together since college, lived together for 3 years. I thought I knew every expression on his face, every inflection in his voice. That evening, he took me to Rossini's, the same Italian restaurant where we had our first official date. The same corner booth, even the same waiter. Marcus had clearly planned everything down to the smallest detail. Halfway through dinner, he got quiet again, that same nervous energy from the morning, but amplified. He kept reaching into his jacket pocket, then pulling his hand back. "Marcus, you're making me nervous," I said, trying to lighten the mood. "What's going on with you tonight?" He laughed, but it sounded forced. "Sorry, I have something important to ask you." And then he did it. Right there in our booth, he dropped to one knee and pulled out this gorgeous vintage ring. Art Deco style, exactly what I'd always dreamed of. The entire restaurant went quiet, watching us. "Vivian Claire Morrison," he said, and his voice was shaking. "Will you marry me?" I said yes, obviously. How could I not? The ring was perfect, the moment was perfect, everyone was clapping. It felt like the fairy tale ending I'd been waiting for, but something nagged at me that night as we celebrated. The way he'd hesitated before proposing. The relief in his eyes afterward, like he'd just gotten through something difficult rather than something joyful. I pushed those thoughts away. I was engaged, I was happy, or at least, I was supposed to be. The next few weeks passed in a blur of wedding planning excitement. Marcus seemed more relaxed, more like his old self. We looked at venues, talked about dates, started making lists. Everything felt normal again, until that Tuesday afternoon in November. Marcus had left for a client meeting, but forgot his portfolio on the kitchen counter. I knew he'd need it, so I grabbed it and headed to his car to catch him before he got too far. That's when I saw his Mercedes still in the driveway. Confused, I walked over and knocked on the driver's window. The car was empty, but unlocked. I figured he must have taken an Uber and forgotten to lock it. I was about to put the portfolio on the passenger seat when I noticed the glove compartment was slightly open. Just trying to be helpful, I went to close it properly. That's when I saw the ring box. My heart stopped. For a moment, I thought maybe he'd bought me another surprise, maybe anniversary earrings or something. But when I opened it, it was another engagement ring, not just any ring. This one was modern, sleek, with a massive princess-cut diamond. Completely different from mine, but easily twice as expensive. I sat there in his car, holding this box, trying to make sense of what I was seeing. Maybe it was for his sister, but Delia had been married for years. His cousin. No, she was barely 20. With shaking hands, I looked inside the box lid, hoping for some innocent explanation. There was an engraving. To my one true love, M, the same initial he signed on my anniversary card. The same handwriting. I don't remember driving home. I don't remember the next few hours. I just remember sitting on our couch, staring at that ring, trying to convince myself there was some reasonable explanation. When Marcus came home that evening, I was ready for him. "How was your meeting?" I asked, keeping my voice steady. "Fine," he said, not making eye contact. "Long day, I'm going to grab a shower." "Marcus," I said, and he stopped. "You forgot your portfolio this morning." He turned around, and I saw something flicker across his face. "Fear, maybe. Thanks," he said. Did you put it in the car?" "I tried to," I said, "but I found something interesting in your glove compartment." I placed the ring box on the coffee table between us. Marcus went completely white. For a long moment, neither of us spoke. Then he sat down heavily in the chair across from me, running his hands through his hair. "Vivian, I can explain." "Can you?" I asked. "Because I've been sitting here for 6 hours trying to come up with any explanation that doesn't involve you cheating on me." He was quiet for so long I thought he might not answer at all. It's not. It's not what you think, he finally said. Then tell me what it is. Another long pause. When he looked up at me, his eyes were filled with something I'd never seen before. Shame, maybe, or resignation. The ring, he said slowly, isn't for another woman. I blinked. What? It's a backup, he said. In case you said no. I stared at him. A backup? I bought 2 rings, he said, the words coming out in a rush now. Yours was my first choice, but I wasn't sure. I wasn't sure you'd like it, so I bought a second one, something more traditional, more expensive. I was going to return it after you said yes, but I forgot about it. For a moment, I almost believed him. It was so ridiculous, so unnecessarily complicated that it almost made sense in a very Marcus way. But then I remembered the engraving. Marcus, I said quietly. If it was just a backup, why does it say to my one true love inside? The color drained from his face again. They probably put the wrong engraving in, he stammered. You know how these jewelry stores are. I opened the box and held it out to him. Look at the handwriting, Marcus. Look at it and tell me that's not yours. He looked, and I watched as the last of his lies crumbled in his expression. Who is she? I asked. He put his head in his hands. Vivian. Who is she? When he looked up, there were tears in his eyes, real ones. Her name is Catalina, he said. She works at the firm, in accounting. The firm where he'd been working late. Where he'd been taking all those mysterious phone calls. How long? I asked. 6 months, he whispered, 6 months, half of our anniversary year. Were you planning to leave me for her? He shook his head. No, I don't know, I was confused. I love you, Vivian, I do, but with her it felt like what? Like I was someone else, someone better. I sat there absorbing this. The man I'd agreed to marry, the man I'd built my entire future around, had been living a double life for 6 months. So what was the plan? I asked. Marry me and keep seeing her on the side. No, he said quickly. I was going to end it with her, that's why I proposed. I thought if we got engaged it would help me. Choose, I repeated. You proposed to me to help you choose between me and your mistress. He flinched at the word mistress but didn't deny it. And the other ring, he was quiet for a long time. Then, I was going to give it to her as an apology for ending things. Apology engagement ring. For his other woman, I stood up. I need you to leave. Vivian, please. Now, Marcus, I need you to pack a bag and leave, tonight. He started to argue, but something in my face must have stopped him. He went upstairs and I heard drawers opening and closing, hangers rattling. When he came back down with his suitcase, he stopped at the door. For what it's worth, he said, I really did choose you. The proposal, the engagement, that was real. I looked at him. This man I'd loved for 5 years, trusted with my whole heart. No, I said, it wasn't, because you can't choose someone while you're still in love with someone else. He left that night and I haven't seen him since, but the story doesn't end there. 3 weeks later, I got a call from a number I didn't recognize, a woman's voice heavily accented. Is this Vivian Morrison? Yes, my name is Catalina Ruiz. I think we need to talk. We met at a coffee shop downtown. She was beautiful, of course. Young, probably mid-20s, with long dark hair and the kind of confident presence that made other women jealous. But when she sat down across from me, her hands were shaking. I didn't know about you, she said immediately. Not until last week. I believed her. There was something genuine in her fear, her obvious distress. He told me he was single, she continued. Said he'd gotten out of a long relationship earlier this year, but was ready to start something new. The lies just kept coming, even after everything had fallen apart. Why are you telling me this? I asked. She reached into her purse and pulled out a small velvet box, the other ring, the one that was supposed to be her apology gift. He gave this to me yesterday, she said. Told me he was ready to take the next step, that he'd found the money for the ring he'd always wanted to give me. I stared at the box. He proposed to you too, she nodded, tears starting to fall. I said, yes, and then I found these. She pulled out her phone and showed me a series of screenshots, text messages between Marcus and someone else, recent ones. Babe, I can't wait to finally be free of both of them, one read. Just a few more weeks of playing the heartbroken ex and then we can start fresh in Denver. My blood went cold. Who is he texting? Someone named Rebecca, Catalina said. Apparently she's his boss's daughter. Got him the job transfer he's been wanting. I read through the messages with growing horror. Marcus hadn't been choosing between Catalina and me. He'd been planning to leave both of us for a third woman, someone who could advance his career. The engagement to me was to throw off suspicion while he arranged his transfer. The proposal to Catalina was to keep her quiet until he could disappear. We were both just loose ends he needed to tie up. What do we do? Catalina asked. I looked at this young woman across from me. This other victim of Marcus's elaborate web of lies, and for the first time in weeks, I smiled. We make sure he doesn't get away with it, I said, but that's a story for another time, because sometimes the best revenge isn't getting even. It's making sure the truth comes out exactly when it hurts the most.